Get into the spirit of spirits at Tales of the Cocktail, July 20th through 25th in New Orleans. With hundreds of opportunities developed for drinks industry professionals, Tales of the Cocktail features education, spirit tastings, networking, and the Spirited Awards celebration. Get tickets at talesofthecocktail.org.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
To Tesco, get some Argandart or something like that because it was on offer at only £3 a tub. It's back to double price of that now.
Oh, Ben and Jerry's better anyway.
And that's £1 more.
What? Yeah, if you're going to pay £3 for ice cream, you may as well pay £4 for ice cream. That's what I mean.
Well,
get better ice cream for it.
I think Egg and Doss were £5.65 and Ben and Jerry's were £6.55.
Exactly. At that point, you may as well pay the extra £1 for the extra quality. They do a new mango one.
Okay.
It's called Mango Surprise. It's not called Mango Surprise, but it's like mango and passion fruit or something like that. I don't like chocolate, so I have to get ice cream that hasn't got chocolate in, which means I'm pretty fucked when it comes to most of them because they've given it, even like the non-chocolate ones, I've got like chocolate chips in or chocolate chunks or cookies, chocolate aids or
that's so true that I don't like chocolate.
And then about a year ago they brought out the honey and lemon one, Ben and Jerry's, and I went, this is going to be right down my street, this is going to be perfect, and I didn't really like it. This year, mango and passion fruit, that's where it's at. They're finally catering towards the fat chocolate hate, which is it's about time.
You see, I don't mind chocolate in its form on here, unless set chocolate. But I don't like chocolate.
Isn't that a chocolate?
Yeah, it's just plain. I like set chocolate. I don't like chocolate mousse, chocolate milkshake. Don't like that. Ugh. Nutella. Ugh.
Nutella, the chocolate spread.
Oh no.
That looks disgusting.
Yeah, don't like it at all.
I remember do you remember Picnic, the chocolate bars?
Mm-hmm. Of course I do, yeah. I
remember I think it might have been at the start of the Premier League or something like that. There was a football fanzine, or it might have been like at 10 years of the Premier League or something like that. And he was asking for all their clubs to name like the worst player. A fan from each club named their worst player over the last 10 years or something. And I remember the Liverpool one was Torben Picnic. Like the chocolate bar of the same name, looked like a lump of shit. That was the review. That was the review of him. So I remember that, but I can't remember ever having seen him play. So
I've never even heard of him.
Anyway, this is going to be the summer special. So I reckon it's going to start with like beach sounds and seagulls and like all that kind of thing.
Not the music of an ice cream van in background.
Yeah, well, that's how we're going to explain Edgy's absence, is that he's gone to the ice cream van.
With something like...
Well, that's not making any noise, so...
that the Archers?
Yeah, what the fuck's that got to do with?
Well, it's a nice jaunty
At the beach,
song.
someone nearby listening to Radio 4 on a radio, because this beach is in the 80s.
I've just seen that with the. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Aaron Rodgers has gone to Steelers.
Really?
Yeah,
that's good, because he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. That's got to be a great move.
That is a great move, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I failed to see how anyone could complain about that if they're a Pittsburgh fan.
Are we going to come to that?
We're definitely going to come to that.
I just love the quote that's come out with as well, but I'll bring that up later.
Yeah, although one of the weird things is he's always there's some consistency with him in that he's always said good things about Mike Tomlin. It's one of the few people in the game he has never slagged off. So.
It's all happening at the Steelers, though, isn't it? TJ Watt, he's not attending minicamp, wants a new contract.
Same
with Terry McLaren. Same with him, he's not going to turn up.
Well, that's why, unless they make it compulsory, they're not going to show up when they're waiting for a new contract on the grounds they might get injured.
Mm-hmm.
But TJ's going to get paid. He's going to get paid Myles Garrett money.
Yeah. Or even Max Crosby money.
It's in our interest to sort it out before the start of the season. I mean, we could start with, because I wasn't going to do a draft recap anyway, so we could start by talking about the draft. And people, obviously, Sanders dropping was the big story. But
big story to who, though?
The more I've heard of it, the more it makes absolute sense.
Exactly that, yeah. I agree with
when
that.
He tried out for the Steelers, apparently he was rated as being similar in style to Kenny Pickett, but not as good.
Yeah.
Right. So at that point alone, makes no sense for the Steelers to draft him. He then also came across like a bit of a twat during the interview. And they said he didn't have they didn't think he had the character to be a backup because he's got the mentality that he thinks he should be a starter.
Of his dad. Yeah, his mentality of his dad.
He thinks he should be a starter, but he doesn't have the talent to be a starter.
Yeah. Shall I tell you what it reminds me of? Do you know what it reminds me of?
Johnny Football?
No. Not in American football, in a comparison. This is going to be the Eubanks. Yeah, Chris Eubank, who was in his time a fantastic boxer. He's brought Chris Eubank up and he's nowhere near a patch on his dad, but it's his dad bigging him up all the time. This is what this smack's like, and it'll never be his dad. I don't think, obviously, different position and everything, but but his attitude and everything's just.
But his attitude, it was the same thing. How many teams realistically had to take a quarterback in this draft? You look at maybe two who had to.
Yeah, had to, yeah.
Titans were never going to consider him because they already had theirs sorted. The Giants, if there was a better second-rated quarterback there, they might have taken it at pick 3.
Yeah.
In the end, they traded up into the mid-20s to get another quarterback, who a lot of people still think is a bit too high. Bearing in mind, no one's sure who else would have taken a quarterback that high. But
fair comment.
But it doesn't make any less sense for Sanders to have dropped. It makes more sense every time I've heard people talking about it. But realistically, there were only 3 or 4 teams.
Definitely wasn't interviewing well.
Who could have gone for him.
Yeah.
So
the
Giants, apparently he didn't interview well there.
No.
And the fact they traded up to get a different quarterback in the first round suggests they were not sold on him at all.
No.
Steelers didn't like him as a quarterback or person when he tried out for them. He'd slagged off a couple of other teams saying that he wasn't going to play for them.
Yeah.
And then you end up being the a fifth round pick and probably going to be a quarterback well, how does he make the roster at Cleveland?
How does he? That's it, isn't it? I don't know. I really don't know how that's going to work.
They've got 5 quarterbacks now at the moment. all right, fair enough. One of them's still Deshaun Watson, but they're still paying him.
Flacco, fine.
They got Joe Flacco, who's probably gonna
start.
If not, Kenny Pickett will start.
Yeah.
That leaves. I can't even think of the guy's name.
No, what about round 3? I'm there. Dylan Gabriel from Oregon.
Dylan Gabriel was it the arse end of 3?
Yeah.
Right, there it is. Yeah. Right, so they've got Dylan Gabriel in, who's obviously going to be their third QB.
Yeah.
Then in the 5th round, they get Sanders.
So let me ask you a question. Why get Gabriel in round 3 and then go for Sanders? Why?
I don't know. But I think it's more a case of why get Sanders rather than why get Gabriel.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I don't understand why they waste 2 picks for a team that needs players and get 2 quarterbacks. Bear in mind, you've got Kenny Pickett, you've got Joe Flacco. Watson, I don't think we'll see again in NFL.
But Watson's still taking up a big chunk of their money.
Yeah, so you think Gabriel will sit behind Flacco and Pickett and learn from them. It just, for me, leaves no place for Sanders to do anything. It's almost like, is it going to be between Gabriel and Sanders, a 3rd and 5th round, fighting out for one spot?
Yeah, but then the spot they're going to be fighting out for is 3rd QB.
3rd QB, yeah.
And if no one else thinks that Sanders can handle being a backup, he's not going to want to be 3rd quarterback anywhere, is he?
But one thing that's also coming out of Cleveland at the time is Travis Hunter. It looks like
that's what I was going to mention this. I thought when we did a couple of months ago when we did our pre-draft predictions, we were talking about potential trades and stuff like that, and we went, "There's no way the Browns are going to trade out number 2 when there's a potential like generational talent there." They didn't need Abdul Carter.
No.
They're going to take Travis Hunter. And now not only do they not have Travis Hunter, they've got Mason Graham, who's, from what I can tell, is meant to be a really good prospect. But he was the first one, as you went down the draft board, who no one thinks is going to be elite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Travis Hunter's probably gutted about ending up at the Jags as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But what the reports are coming out of the Jags at the moment is already fits the mold of a pro corner. So can we see him come on maybe 1 or 2 gadget players as a wide receiver, but I think he'll play more side defensively.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about it is he's officially listed as a cornerback.
Yeah.
So I think he'll definitely start as a corner. And yeah, maybe gadget plays, or maybe like 1 down out of 4. They'll have him out there.
Just bring him out there.
Okay, I was actually looking at the names of this because we actually, if you look at the positions that we said, apart from when Edgy drafted a journalist.
Oh yeah.
If you look at the top 7,
yeah,
we got the top 7 right.
Yeah.
We got Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Aston Genty, and Membu.
Yeah.
We got the first 7. So anyone out there who says we don't know what we're talking about, you're right, but coincidentally we got that one bang on.
The top 7. But yeah, again, it's like Mason Graham. He's a good defensive tackle. I think he's an automatic starter. Next to like the new signing of Myles Garrett. Interesting how Garrett plays for the Browns now. He's got paid. Arguably could have got paid a bit higher somewhere else, but he's got paid now. And we all know what happens once you got paid.
I'd have thought he might have gone somewhere else for less money, but a chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, so this is my thing about sport in general. Do you, and I'm going to use Man City on this one, do you go to Man City, such as Jack Grealish, sit on the bench if you're lucky, then have half an hour here, 20 minutes there, 10 minutes there, don't play, but you pick up so many winners' medals, trophies, but not really contributing to a team? Or do you go to a team where you're going to play every week and because you enjoy playing football? Was it just gone for the money? Now, I agree. If he had any, what's the word I'm looking for? Not motivation, any ambition to win a Super Bowl, you're not stopping with the Browns. You want to win a Super Bowl, you take less money, like you said, and go and join the team that's Super Bowl a contender.
There's
He's
half a
made
dozen
money.
teams. There's half a dozen teams who probably have a chance of winning it who would have taken Miles
Yeah.
Garrett.
We would have took him.
I was talking about teams who might win.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah.
But if you look at those teams, there's generally holes on the defense you can fill with Miles Garrett. If not, Miles Garrett is an upgrade. Even if you're the Eagles or whatever,
Absolutely.
Miles Garrett is still an upgrade on whatever you've got there.
Still one of the best players in that position in the league by a long way. So he's going to improve your team for the next 2-3 years without question of.
So we do need to go through who actually did go where. So Cam Ward, no surprise, number one. There was talk for a bit that if we didn't get Aaron Rodgers, we may go after Levis from the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have minded. I think he's better than Tennessee Titans. I reckon if he'd have been playing the way he's played over the last couple of years at a different team, he'd have been
possibly.
Right.
Yeah, possibly.
Travis Hunter to the Jags, who I think might be the wrong team for him. Abdul Carter at the Giants has got to be a good move for them, but they've got so many holes.
Yeah, haven't they? But they did have a good draft a little bit further on for a quarterback, which we'll pick up on later.
Yeah. Will Campbell, OT to the Patriots, which is a good move because they've got their quarterback in place, bit of protection for him.
Look, New England Patriots always been famed for their offensive line, right through when Tom Brady were there. They're always strong. Nate Solder, I remember one of them being an absolute legend. Matt Light was another one. Yeah, they were always good on the offensive line.
Well, Burt Bacharach used to swear by his O-line, didn't he? He used to.
Oh, massive.
He used to make sure that was in place every year.
Once that's in place, you work from that.
Mason Graham, we said, could be good, but probably not the player they needed.
No.
Raiders, who I think have had a good draft. Ashton Jeanty.
Very good draft for Raiders, by the way.
They needed a running back since Jacobs left. Why not get one that everyone thinks? Everyone's pretty much agreed that this guy's going to be a fucking great running back who stays fit.
Yeah, they reckon he's a bit of a LaDainian Tomlinson style, Frank Gore style runner. And they can't go wrong with that.
He went in the top 10, and they never go in the top 10.
Yeah.
Not anymore. The Bears, Colston Loveland. This is one of the ones we got wrong, but to be fair, lots of people got this wrong. A lot of people thought Tyler Warren might go here.
Yeah,
but
who did we have?
I think we said Tyler Warren would go here. So we got them having a tight end, but we just got the wrong tight end.
Yeah.
But Tyler Warren ended up at the Colts. So I think we had those two the other way around.
Okay. Yeah.
49ers got Michael Williams. Cowboys, Tyler Booker, who's just the sort of unimpressive name you want at the Cowboys.
Yeah. Fifth with the rest of them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, they didn't go take my advice and pick a punter. At pick 12, they've gone for a guard. Is it Jackson Dart?
Jackson Dart, he's a proper sleeper because although you passed on him, he was touted going to the Steelers at 21, where you got Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle. There were, like I said, rumours that he was a good fit for the Steelers, but didn't go for him.
It's one of those ones where he's going to be he's a young quarterback. I think the Steelers were possibly looking at him being a potential quarterback if he was in next year's draft, but he's going into the draft early and he's not ready to start. But how are you going to sit behind Mason Rudolph and learn anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, also that is 15 years too young to be a Steelers quarterback.
You say that, we got Kenny Pickett when he was 12.
Yeah, true.
And wonder why it didn't work out. Edgy's Cardinals. No, he's not here. But I was going to question him when he gets here, see if he can remember what team he supports. But they did sign Walter Nolan, who was one of those players who was predicted to go anywhere like between 10 and 30 in the first draft, and they picked him up at 16. So it's a weird one because obviously his opinions of him were fluctuating quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be
So
interesting to see what Edgy
he could be
thinks of him.
he could be a star. He could be an absolute star, or he could be a bust. We don't know.
Edgy will. He'll know him inside out.
Well, he'll have spent today Googling. Hey up.
Sprecken's a devil. Just in time, Edgy. Oh my god.
Oh,
You could not have timed that any
Here he
better.
is. Back from the ice cream van with a 99 for all of us.
yeah, it was nice. Have I missed the Washington chat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're not having any more. So.
Oh, great.
So we're
Now
just
talking about the draft, and we were just talking about the Arizona Cardinals drafting Walter Nolan.
Yeah. Wasn't he in the B-52s? No.
Now you're thinking of Fred Schneider.
No, I always get them mixed up. Yeah.
Oh, you're thinking of Bernice Nolan from the Nolans.
Bernadette.
The
That's
guy
it,
that they,
Burnett.
the guy that we actually did draft, he was quite well thought of. I have no idea what his name is, but
Walter Nolan.
is that who he was?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Still is, yeah.
I was just saying he's one of those ones who, in all of the mock drafts leading into it, he was going like about 12, he was going 30, and everywhere in between. So it's a tough one to know, but DT is a position you needed to improve at. So
if I remember watching it, he had a lovely suit on as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Do you think he fits straight in starting Edgy?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What do you mean?
100%. Yeah.
Is he? Do you think he's more suited to a 3-4 than a 4-3? Would you stick him in as a 4-3?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know what you played last year, but I reckon,
two of us.
I reckon it can't hurt to change it round for if you're the Cards.
Yeah, they've got to play him first rounder.
My one abiding memory of the draft is that what a prick Travis Hunter is.
Really?
Yeah, we knew that before, though. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, when you say really, do you mean it took me until then to realise?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a secret that he's that guy. He's
Yeah. He's everything that I hate about human beings personified in one person. So, although where did he go?
Yeah.
Jags,
Yeah.
didn't he? Was it Jags?
Yeah.
He went to the Jags.
Who are one of my teams, but I hope he does really poorly.
That's the point. That's something else we need to do before the season starts. Find out the official Edgy team list.
Yeah. I've got to keep with the Cards now, haven't I?
Yeah, I know, but we have to find out which ones are one of your teams.
Right.
I think we worked out there was 16 last year.
Yeah, there was quite a few. Honestly, I swear to God, Travis Hunter going to the Jags really makes me not want them to do anything, even though they were.
Yeah, that's that effect.
So that's the Jags have gone down the list then?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you might have had your Arizona top on, Edgy.
No, it's just covering the bath at the moment.
Well, all of it.
Like a tea cozy. Yeah. Yeah. It's too hot to wear the 3 hoodies underneath it that I need to make it fit.
Grow into it. Leave them alone. All right. So let's just finish off on these this draft. Steelers drafted Derek Harmon and immediately killed his mum.
Really?
Yeah, his mum died straight after being after the draft.
The excitement got to her.
She was alive long enough to see him drafted, and then she popped it on.
But not much longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Mario Hampton, which is a name that I find quite funny, went to the Chargers, and I think that might be one of those sleeper
running back, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
You might have already done this, but the draft that we did or predicted.
Yeah.
How right or wrong was I?
I said we got the first 7 right.
Is that usual? Is that good?
It's an absolute shocker.
Really?
Normally, by pick 2, it's gone completely tits up.
Oh, okay. So is that because we're just super cool and knowledgeable?
Yeah, we'll go with that one. We're going with that one. The official line.
I'll go with that.
The official line is we know exactly what we're talking about.
I do.
Oh, went wrong when you picked that journalist, though.
Yeah, it went downhill from that point.
You're paying attention to what I say.
Matthew Golden went to the Packers. I think that could be a good one as well. It's annoying that they didn't have Aaron Rodgers at the draft, so they could cut to him immediately when the Packers draft a wide receiver in round 1, which is something they never did while Aaron Rodgers was their quarterback. And let's talk about pick 29 overall, Josh Connolly. Who's this guy, Des?
Would you like me to start on Josh?
Go on.
Oh, this is Washington.
It is.
Yeah.
So it comes in, we need a tackle. We definitely need a tackle.
8 words to describe your number 1 draft.
Okay. In 8 words, using chat, whatever.
Right, okay.
Okay. Strengths. I'm just going to do a couple of his strengths. Showed vast improvement as the season progressed. His movements are composed and relatively athletic. His weakness, it says this is where it contradicts each other, because it accelerates hard into down blocks, and his weakness is he lacks pace to collect linebackers.
Yeah, but you can go from very slow to slow, and it's still accelerating.
Yeah, that's true. He's an average bender who relies on forward lean to brace up, apparently.
An average about him.
But we think NFL's gone all carry on draft.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, he's oversets open up the inside door in pass protection. That's another one. They just put all this crap in. I think he'll do all right. We need one. I think whether he starts or not, I'm not sure, but I think he'll certainly get a few reps. I think Callum's in the chat. I think Callum likes his pick as well.
The surprising thing is Josh Simmons was still on the board at the time, which a lot of people thought was going to go earlier.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of a gamble there, or maybe he's just not considered as good a fit.
Yeah, we're lacking because we have Tunsil, of course. Yeah, let's not forget the big signing of Laramie Tunsil. Tunsil we got as well from the Texans, and he can help get help get tight end. Yeah, correct, Callum.
The very much discussed Jihadi Campbell went to the Eagles. And a lot of people seem to think for the second draft in a row, the Eagles stood still and actually ended up having a really good draft.
Yeah. Callum is just saying that he loved the Cards draft, the overall draft. They had a good, they brought some good players in.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, but thanks, Cal, for bringing that up there. Yeah, I'll let you discuss it, Cal.
Who would you think your best player is apart from that defensive tackle you brought in?
Cal.
Callum?
No, just wait.
Callum, type quicker. Type quicker.
Just buy me some time. I've only got the first round up.
Will Johnson dropped to the second round. A lot of people thought he might go in the first, and you got him in midway through the second. So you can never tell how good.
Well,
whether you've got a draft steal or not, but
you know, after they always rate the draft, don't they? Oh, okay, so
no one knows.
Hey,
no one knows.
I saw the day after. I think it was me and Dad were discussing it, and 3 different sites gave like A, B plus, and the C minus. Like, well, make your mind up. It's just all subjective, surely.
Yeah, it is.
The Steelers always get like a B minus or C plus. They go, well, they've just drafted a defensive end.
The same old.
That's all they do.
But I'm just looking at the Cards now, and they went very defensive. They went Nolan, defensive tackle in the first round. Second round, they went with Will Johnson, a corner. Third round, they went Jordan Birch, edge from Oregon, decent player. Fourth round, Cordy Simon, linebacker from Ohio State. Fifth round, they went for a cornerback, Denzel Burke, also known to his friend as Denzel Boyk. In round 6, they went for a guard, Aiden Connor from Texas.
Oh, that's a bit shame. All defense would have made it better.
Then in round 7, pick 9,
approach.
Yeah, they went for Kyton Crawford, safety from Nevada.
And some of the free agencies as well that they've really focused on the defense. And I think, being honest, the offense doesn't really need a lot as long as everyone's coming back. Good tight ends, good running back, decent receivers, fairly decent O-line.
Yeah, Callum's just saying the corner in the second round was a steal.
Will Johnson, yeah,
but he's got problems with his knee, so if that holds out, it will be good. But knee injuries in NFL don't tend to go very, very well.
Oh well.
I saw them. Everyone's like mid-season report of ins and outs and that kind of thing. I saw the Cards rated quite highly across
They
the
were
board.
rated very highly, yeah, from everyone. When you said someone will give you an A, B, C, D, but everyone seemed to put the Cards in the top A, B category.
Right, okay.
But I can't say he's worried about his knee because it's a reason why Jim Harbaugh didn't take him.
Mm.
But what does he know about defence anyway?
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
So yeah, what's he ever won?
Nothing.
Exactly.
But yeah, overall, I think Cards can be very pleased with that. I think they've got a couple of starters in that draft as well.
Washington's pick of Trey Amos, arse end of the second round. Isn't this potentially considered a bit of a steal as well?
I can't believe he was still there. Neither could they, I don't think.
I mean, you picked him 2 slots ahead of Omar Norman Lovett, who went to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Trey Amos from Mississippi, picked 61. I do like him. I watched a little bit of his tape afterwards. Didn't really know anything about him beforehand. I think Callum, you mentioned Trey Amos before. And I think it's quite a big fan, is Callum, of Trey Amos. He says, hopefully Callum is going to agree.
Where did that Norman Lovett guy go?
I don't know, he was in Red Dwarf for a bit, wasn't he?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Holly. I thought I recognised the name.
Yeah, so Callum's a fan of him, and Callum definitely knows more about the draft than I do. But yeah, Callum's a fan. I'm a fan.
Round 3, we Steelers grabbed a running back, Caleb Johnson, who looks like he's going to be our starting running back this year. So whether that's just because we think he's that good or we couldn't find anyone better, we don't know.
Who was your last one last year? Was it
Najee Harris?
Has he released him?
We didn't take his 5th-year option. We could have kept him, but
Has he gone anywhere?
he has gone somewhere. I can't remember where it is off the top of my head. And it's somewhere I thought, yeah, he'll do well.
He wasn't awful for you last year, was he?
He's consistently good. He's 1,000 yards a season. He's good. He's probably one of the ones you say he's good. He's not great.
Yeah.
So with that rationale,
He's steady.
You'd expect this draftee then to get somewhere near those numbers?
Yeah, although they probably thought another year he's still not going to be good enough to keep. And it's going to be contract negotiation season. So I think they thought that he wasn't going to improve. So why not see if there's another guy out there who does? I think that's the thinking behind that.
Etc.
In the 6th round, so this quarterback was taken after Sanders. We picked up Will Howard, who has got one of those uninspiring quarterback names. I always think that you need to have a quarterback with a name that either sounds like he'd be a good quarterback or at least a bit inspiring. Will Howard doesn't do that for me.
Sounds like he should be in a 50s sitcom.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, almost certainly, yeah. With a laugh track. The Will Howard Show is filmed in front of a live studio audience. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was picked one place before Tyler Loop.
Tyler Loop.
Loop. As in snooker loopy. Tyler Loopy. Nuts are we. And also, as we're down here, in the nether regions, as it's known, Washington, Kane Medrano, linebacker.
Hey, that's Kane Medrano to you.
Hey.
Yeah. If I said to you, right, on a linebacker, I think it's a linebacker, and I come from my favourite college as well, UCLA, the home place of Mercedes Lewis, tight end. What would you put weight-wise on a 4-3 linebacker outside?
You see, it's changed a lot, and also,
Well, it's changed since
you'd probably say
Colts.
you probably say it's 40 pounds less than it was back in the day.
Well,
but I don't really know what it is because my brain doesn't work in pounds.
No. Yeah, when it comes to American sport, everything's in pounds and whatever. So I always think,
go metric, you pricks.
280.
Yeah, 280. You see that's an edge.
No, I reckon maybe 220, 230.
Yeah, you're 222, 222 he is, and I think that's like that for for a linebacker because what's
But is he
Derrick Henry?
fast?
Is he fast? He scores highly again with athleticism. Again, another probably athlete. It does say on here his weaknesses swallowed and eliminated when blocks land flush.
Are you reading English there?
No, you missed the first part.
He's reading fucking Julian Clary's autobiography.
I mean,
you see, it used to be around about 240, 250 for a middle linebacker,
right,
and
what's
maybe
that in
230 as an outside linebacker. But it all changed for me when Indianapolis Colts had that 4-3 defense with Cato June and who else played that?
£250 is about 17.5 stone.
Perfectly normal weight.
Big lad, that, yeah.
So put in then, put £330 in.
Fuck me, 23.5.
Yeah, you don't want them to stand on your toes.
Or
that.
It's a long way round.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have a question. So it's kind of a two-part question. One, is it usual, or how usual is it that somebody gets drafted but then gets cut? Because
Very often. Outside the first 3 rounds, very often.
So your big dream, you come out of college, oh yeah, great, I've got drafted in the 4th round, and you don't see November, October.
Yeah.
That must be soul destroying.
It's one of those, Edgy, where if you went in the first 3 rounds, you can't really be let go. The reason is, if you're let go, that means your back office has done a poor job, and that's admitting you've done a poor job.
And so a lot of them do a poor job.
Yeah, they do, but they won't release them.
Right, so that's political more than anything else.
Yeah,
right.
And if
let's say that they did release them, is there some sort of a penalty for the salary cap if that's the case?
No, because a lot of them won't get signed. They'll be signed on a contract until the start of the season.
That's right.
Okay.
And they'll just be let go.
So part 2 then is related. So who's the biggest prospect that has gone through that treatment then?
Well, then let's go. Who's been released? A player called Johnny Manziel obviously came, and Tebow came and went, but then
neither of them were actually any good.
Get released.
They were just overhyped. That was the problem.
No.
I suppose by definition, none of them are going to be contentious because of how good they were, because by definition they weren't very good because they got released.
Who was the running back at Cincinnati? Probably early 2000s. Was his name Carter?
No, I'm going to say Dylan then. No.
Went 2 or 3 overall. Fucked his knee up pre-season. Was never really any good. He occasionally came in. He was like 2nd or 3rd running back for his career. But
that's unfortunate if it's because of injury.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest reaches out there, I don't know if you agree with me on this, G, would be, no surprise when I say Raiders, when they did Jamarcus Russell, quarterback.
That was a bad quarterback year, though, wasn't it, as well? What they did is they overinflated a quarterback in a bad quarterback year.
But he was overinflated. He was £250 quarterback.
He was proper overinflated by the time he reported to the training camp.
Yeah. Just think, a £250 quarterback.
Right, we've already established that is
17.
He's the origin of the story about the guy they give a blank tape to, and he claims he watched all the plays. That originates with him. So no one knows who that story is really about or if it's true, but he's the first one I heard it about.
And like I said before, Edgy, they do get cuts, and some will go on the practice squad. Once you're on the practice squad, you're fair game for any other teams coming in and playing them. And just to keep with the brains, Nick Chubb has gone to the Texans.
Has he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I like Nick Chubb as a player. I think he's finished, though.
I think next season could be. It's look, I thought Derrick Henry were more or less finished, but he
never had the ACL.
Yeah, he's not had that.
Yeah, that's true. But let's give him a few games next season and see. We'll know what we after week 5. We'll see where Chubb is.
Well, when he came back,
there's another one.
It did take a few.
Let's see the NFL's Chubb for all it's worth.
The Texans have kept Mixon then.
Yeah, that's going to be their 1-2 combo, isn't it? It's quite weird that they've got a new quarterback in, and then by the sound of it, they're going to be really run focused.
Oh my God, I can tell you who the scoreboard operator is. Well, I can't see the head coach. Bloody hell.
Multitasking.
Is it still little Johnny Scoreboard?
I'll tell you what, Rebecca Zielinski, she's the seamstress, apparently.
Well, and it lists seamstress before head coach.
Well, I can't even see head coach.
Head coach of who?
Browns. Pro scouting done by
Cal reckons it's
Kyle.
still Stefanski.
Yeah, I think it might be as well.
I just put in head coach Cleveland Brown that came up with Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you not find that?
Because I'm on the Browns' actual website and on the front office, and it's digital media, director digital and social media is run by Andrew Gribble.
Oh, is this a Gribble website? Is that what's
Gribble.
happened there?
I mean,
Yeah.
The website's shit thanks to fucking Gribble.
Literally on their homepage, it says head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Where does it say
that? Daz doesn't know how the internet works.
Where does it say this?
It's on Video Home.
Oh, Video Home. I didn't go on Video Home. I just went on front office.
So what you're saying is Brown's website is confusing.
At best.
He is.
Well, you think?
Man. Let him off.
Because you go onto the front office and I get you to go on to the Browns website, and what I want you to do is go onto team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I want you to go onto front office.
But I just remembered that was a lot quicker.
Talk about yourselves.
And you scroll down there, and you'll find absolutely no sign of them. That's because I've just gone on to coaches, and he's right there, head coach.
Yeah. That would have been the first thing you go
Yeah,
to.
I didn't see the coach one.
Yeah, but what you did there was you clicked where it says seamstresses.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
went into that.
Well, they've got loads of staff. Every team will be like that, but staff, pass game specialist,
Bubba Ventrone. That's a name.
Bill Willis, coaching fellow. What does that? What does he do? What does this guy do?
And he hasn't called himself Willie Willis.
Defensive quality
I
control.
hate him. He's my least favorite.
Some of these are not anything to do with football whatsoever. Just coordinator of coaching logistics.
Employer of domestic abuse quarterbacks. Is that in there? But it should be. But there's also the I always like the clock management when they have like a proper clock management guy, and it's actually his job. And they fuck up. And they still fuck up. Yeah,
that's a good paid job, that as well, to do that. Also, there's also that guy who holds on to a head coach on the sideline, so he's not encroaching on the pitch, and he pulls him back. And very famous one was Piss Pants Pete.
He's not worth it, Jim.
Piss Pants Pete. He was going up and down the line, and he always had someone behind him giving him a quick tug because he was encroaching.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, and he was like, get back, they're pulling him off.
There's a couple of things I wanted to mention about after the draft. There's been a couple of notable retirements.
Yes.
Frank Ragnow.
Massive.
Center. Yeah.
That's a big.
And you know what you know him, Edgy, because when you're looking for a centre on Madden, he's one of the top ones.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I always ended up with him.
He's announced that he's leaving the Lions. It's a bit of a shock that
massive.
He did, but he announced it last week. There's a lot of wear and tear on NFL players.
Yeah, but centre generally they can go.
Yeah.
Quite.
They're just being constantly hit all the way through their career.
Well,
because Travis went, didn't he? Jason Kelsey went last year, and he was what 36, 37?
Yeah, so Ragnar at 29, he's got another contract in him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Easily.
And he's one of the best centres in the league. Another one, Brandon Graham from the Eagles, retired.
Yeah. It is a good player.
And these are players who are still playing at the top level as well, who are retiring. But I suppose it makes sense. Now they're getting these huge contracts to go, I don't need to go through this anymore.
Yeah, don't.
It's physical pain. I mean,
True, yeah. Take your paycheck, go and open a pub somewhere.
yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
It'll be on the NFL Network next week.
So I want to take everything you've just said and I'm going to switch it all round. So the player who should be retired, maybe probably retired around about 10 years ago, he's wangled his way in to Washington. Not the first time he's played or been in Washington. Josh Johnson.
Hey!
Is that where he is this year?
Well, yeah, not for long though, because we're carrying 5 quarterbacks.
He can go on until he's 60 on the grounds he never has to fucking play.
Yeah, we've got Marcus Mariota, we've got Jaden Daniels, we've got Jeff Briscoe, we've got Sam Hartman, we've got Josh Johnson.
Hey, JJ's going to be in at 3. You know he's going to be in at 3.
Yeah, he'll be cut.
So will he have made any money from that?
And then he'll join someone else.
He'll have made some money.
Oh yeah, he'll get paid a little bit now.
I believe the minimum he'll get paid is $1.2 million if anyone signs him this year.
So Washington have signed. So that Washington, what they've done doesn't count as signing him.
No, you can get someone on a short-term contract during the preseason or whatever.
Right.
But I believe if he gets signed during the regular season, there's a minimum payment. It's based on position, and a quarterback will get $1.2 million minimum.
It's not bad,
and he gets that every fucking year.
Yeah,
at least once.
1.2 million a snap.
No, it's 1.2 million for no snaps.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to Adam Pac-Man Jones, of course, this week, who, not for the first time, has ended up in trouble. What was it? Was it beating up a copper this time?
I think it was, yeah.
Drunkenly beating up a copper, I think.
Yeah, he has history.
Yeah, it's no surprise that he's mad after retiring as well as while he was playing.
Yeah, he was. You know, he was such a good talent as well.
He was a good player. He actually had a good career. It's just all the other stuff you have to take into account as well.
Yeah.
We won a playoff game thanks to him. So him and Perfect, who between them.
God, he was another one, weren't he?
Gave us like 50 yards for free in order to kick a game-winning field goal.
How many times did that bloke get banned, Victor Perfect?
Well, he's the one they think might have broken Antonio Brown's brain with that hit. He did a late hit on him, and Brown was never the same again.
Hi, I'm NFL man in the know, Billy Bob Bakewell Bolux. This podcast was recorded just hours before Antonio Brown was arrested for attempted murder. Otherwise, we'd have mentioned it. Our level of knowledge and research may be limited, but we're not completely. Sorry for the interruption. Now back to the show. I'm NFL man in the know, Billy Bob Bakewell Bolux. Hope you are too.
There's a piece on, was it Chad Johnson, I think? Or was it Okonchinko or whatever? Anyways, Bengals wide receiver. And he said it was might have been a running play. He said he'd seen Ray Lewis there. Thought, he's not even seen me here. I'm just going to knock him off his feet. And he ran straight into Ray Lewis.
Oh, we'll never know.
Big guy. He's big.
He throws then. I can only assume he finished but Ray with Reardon.
And he got helped off the it's on YouTube. He was at the side. He goes, I went to give Ray a big hit. I said, I can't see straight. He said, I think he might have just seen it last second turn round. He said, I can't remember anything else. But he's got to be the best middle linebacker I've seen play anyway. Ray Lewis.
I was delighted to see the back of him.
I bet.
Absolutely delighted.
Do you know, those were the games that going back to your team, the Steelers and the Ravens back in those days, just defensive slugfest. But the defensive players that were on show was phenomenal, boss. That was defensive football at its absolute best.
Troy, we had that
Troy,
guy.
Yeah.
My favourite player ever.
But they had Ed Reed, who obviously not as hard hitting as Troy, but
who's the dude you're pointing at? Greggles?
Troy Polamalu. I'd say for a defensive player, he's a bit of a freak.
Yeah.
Technically a linebacker, I think.
Yeah. He was one of those, what we called a hybrid. Everywhere. Yeah, hybrid, as they call them now.
Yeah. But just made some of the most insane plays I've ever seen from a defensive player. So,
but I think that was proper iconic NFL back then when when teams ran the ball more than what they passed it, and it was all grinding down the middle, and you were just running into brick walls. And the Steelers and Ravens, that they were the brick wall. You could never get past them.
Those are some of the most. Honestly, Ed, you go onto YouTube and just try and find like a full Steelers Ravens game from about, I don't know, 2008 or something like that.
Yeah.
3-0.
It's not far off it, but honestly,
it's not boring.
It's not boring.
It really isn't boring. It's far from boring.
It's so fucking intense.
Yeah.
And you honestly, the players celebrating when they get a field goal because they know how important that field goal is.
Even getting a first down, it was celebrated.
Yeah, they were amazing games.
Yeah. Miss that sort of football, to be honest. Now it's all pass first, and if you've got the fastest players, you kind of like win a lot rather than just old-fashioned words of twatting them.
This was proper twatting them. It was it was good stuff. Yeah. The best thing is at that time is that the Browns and Bengals played that way as well. So all our division games,
divisional, it was fantastic.
Were just an absolute tip.
Because I love defensive football. I love good defensive football. I always watched the Steelers and Ravens because they were the ultimate. They were the best. And it just so happened to be the two best defenses at the same time in the NFL.
And we'd always meet in the playoffs as well.
Yeah. When two titans collide.
Right, I did want to do this because since we did last one of these, and we're now on the summer special, which is why you can hear seagulls.
Yeah.
They've announced the schedule, and I wanted to go through what, according to NFL.com, are the biggest primetime games this season. And there's one that they didn't put in their top 10 because at the time of writing, they weren't sure if it was going to be a big deal or not. But week 6, Green Bay Packers at Pittsburgh Steelers is now tasty.
Very.
And I suppose this might be a good opportunity to talk
week
about
6.
8.
Oh, 8, sorry. 8.
Have you not covered your new quarterback?
No.
Right. I'm just going to go make a brew. Yeah.
Why would it be tasty? I don't understand this. Sure, explain to me why this would be tasty.
It would be
I'll be back in a minute.
It'd be tastier if it was in Green Bay. I mean, for the good of narrative, the NFL should flip that so it's played in Green Bay, shouldn't they? But
you'd hear the boos from here, wouldn't you?
To be honest, you could hear them booing him last year, and they didn't even play against the Jets, did they? So, so Aaron Rodgers officially now Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. And 5 years ago, I'd have been delighted with that. Since then, he's had another MVP season, played a decent season at Green Bay with a broken hand, fucked his Achilles, fallen out with all of New York. I'm a huge fan over the course of his career of Aaron Rodgers as a player. There's nothing at all to suggest he's good for any team he goes into. If they're like a tight team unit, like the Steelers always try to be, I'm not sure a character like Aaron Rodgers is any good for that team. And also, Shedeur Sanders, if his character was considered too shit, and they've signed Aaron Rodgers.
So what is it about Rodgers' character that people don't like?
He's one of the most self-centered, arrogant pricks there's ever been.
Well, isn't that kind of par for the course for a quarterback?
I think it is, but
he takes it to a level.
He takes it to a new level. Nothing's generally his fault. He will turn on whoever he has to turn on in order to make something not his fault.
New York.
Well, it started off New York. It started off with a wide receiver. Then it was all the wide receivers. Then it was O-line. Then it was the coach. Then it was the owner. And none of that is going to fly with Mike Tomlin. As soon as he tries to do that with Tomlin, he's not going to play. He's out. So what you're going to get is half an Aaron Rodgers, because I'm guessing you need the full attitude and everything else in order for him to be a competent quarterback. And so you're not going to get that out of the Steelers. It's just not Aaron Rodgers Pittsburgh Steelers the same way it was Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers. I mean, it just isn't going to work that way. This is a team where the star is the defense at the Steelers. The quarterback is an afterthought, and I'm not sure his ego can handle that. Also, it's an incredibly negative step to take, to essentially say, we're going to tread water for a year, at best.
Again.
Oh, but we tread water in a way that most other teams would love to. We're constantly in the playoffs treading water. But you go in, it's now been, I think, 6 years since Ben Roethlisberger fucked his shoulder up. If 6 years after that happens, you're getting in a 40-year-old quarterback as a stopgap, that suggests there's something wrong in the way the team's getting run. And
so is this above Tomlin's head?
Yeah. It is. The offense is essentially fuck all to do with Tomlin, because he's a defensive guy. That's what he does. We've got Arthur Smith, obviously, is the OC these days.
Yeah.
At the time of writing, he's still the OC. But in terms of the way the draft is done and things like that, I don't know how involved Tomlin is. At most, he's one of the people involved in it, but I don't think it's like he makes the big decision on who we draft first. The time to draft a quarterback was probably 4 years ago and wasn't even considered. They picked up Kenny Pickett on the grounds he was a local lad who they knew about. That's the only thought they put into a quarterback in 6-7 years. So it's one of the best things that can happen for the Steelers is to absolutely shit the bed this year. Problem is their defense has been too good, and they keep sneaking wins when they don't deserve it. End up with a winning record in the playoffs, and everyone goes, "Oh, we must be doing something right. We're in the playoffs."
And then the whole process starts again.
Yeah. Rinse, repeat. But good news coming out of Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers has left.
Aaron Rodgers has been in and addressed the team, and the centre Zach Fraser said about Aaron Rodgers' team meeting was he's told everyone he's all in from here on. That's reassuring words, or maybe
no, it's pronounced Aaron.
Okay, so he's told his team that he's all in from here on. No, I think he's got his speech wrong, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's got speech wrong because he's got married, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he got married. Apparently, his dad or someone's got cancer as well, which is why he took a couple of months away.
Yeah, okay. And maybe that was his honeymoon speech and saying from now on, he's all in. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was another innuendo.
Yeah.
We haven't done enough of those.
Perhaps can never have enough of them. So
you can always squeeze one more in.
Absolutely. So do you think he's gone into the locker room, he's addressed the players, he's told them that he's all in from now on? That's going to be reassuring, isn't it? That's telling that the Steelers is there, he's going to give it everything. And one before you answer that, he's also said he would have taken less money, which is quite funny.
We should cut his wages immediately. Then
I thought that was really funny.
To be fair, we're paying him a third of what the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson this year. So,
but you've got to look at it like that.
A quarter of it.
You watched him. It was the London game, or was he the Munich game or whatever? And you said he actually played quite well. Rodgers.
He did. But the problem is, as much of a shit show as the Jets were last year, their O-line's better than our O-line.
Oh Christ!
He can't run anymore.
No, definitely not.
No,
that might explain why you try and develop that running back.
Yeah, you've got to look at. People say like, his stats last year weren't bad. About 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, something like that. And you look at that and you go, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Problem is, as soon as he drops back, that's it. He's staying there. He's passing that ball.
It's not moving.
He's not moving anywhere.
Everyone's going to know that, aren't they?
Paint a fucking target on him. That's what they're going to do.
And apparently just goes on the Pat McAfee show and just outs everyone.
That's what's going to happen next. So if it starts badly, it's not his fault. He goes on and slags everyone off.
Well, I think we can all see Aaron Rodgers go on to
A-Rod.
Yeah, I think he'll go on to TV.
Arse-Rod.
Yeah, he'll go on TV, won't he? Hopefully replace Brady.
Baseball player, anyway.
You know the worst thing about all of this, though? He's probably still a better quarterback than we had last year. After all that,
Wilson?
he's probably still a better quarterback than we had last year. And that just shows how bad the situation has been as quarterback for the Steelers in the last 5-6 years. It's been an absolute shit show. So I think the next one of these that we're going to do is probably going to be the preseason, the Predicto.
Yeah, absolutely.
And choosing our rookie for the season.
Oof. And don't forget choosing our second team.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot we're going to do that. I agreed to buy a hat, didn't I, for whatever team it was.
You did.
I've already got 15 other second teams.
I know yours will be interesting. Can't be any of them.
Definitely not the Jags.
Well, they won't have you back, the Jets.
I can't remember what the rules were, but I know there were two. We could choose two teams that we're not allowed to be allocated, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
it could be someone in a. It could be someone in our division.
That's right.
And it can't be either of your two teams for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And it can't be the Cowboys.
No,
it can't be the Cowboys or someone in our division or one of our teams. Yeah.
So Browns it is.
I'm safe from the Browns. So.
I'm safe from the Cowboys, even though we're not picking them anyway. I think that should be done on a rookie roulette wheel of fortune.
The problem is that we can't do the rookie roulette wheel because there were 200 players drafted. It would be an absolute nightmare.
No, I mean for the teams who were our second team.
Unless you just did it from a first round pick, 32 to choose from.
Okay, but we can't have a top 5.
Well, if you get the top.
Well, the rookies, yeah. We can't have a top 5. I'd say the first 2 rounds, but we can't have a top 10. Okay. Maybe. So it gives us
what
60,
about this
60 players.
You can't have anything for top 7 because we've already predicted top 7. After that, go for it. Because we knew what was going to happen in the draft.
And also, if you go for third
round, QBSCpod@gmail.com